dears, welcome back to English class. Hope you all are fine. Uh, be safe, happy, and smile always. Okay, now let's have a summary of the Adventures of Toto. I think you might have seen the animation video and revision video and all, and surely it's a very easy topic. And it is not that much important. It's only talking about the naughtiness of a short monkey called Toto. Okay. Anyway, let's have the summary again. I'll just give the gist of the story again for you. The topic is the Adventures of Toto. The Toto is a little monkey. And Ruskin Bond's grandfather. I had told you earlier that Ruskin Bond was used to stay with his grandparents. So the narrator's grandfather bought a monkey from a Tonga at a cost of 5 rupees, and he named it as Toto, and he began to keep this Toto in his private zoo. He has already a lot of animals in his private zoo, and this Toto also was kept in this private zoo. And what is the specialty of Toto? No? Toto was a pretty monkey. He had mischief in his shining eyes. His teeth were white like pearls. His hands were dried up, and his fingers were quick. He was using his tail as a third hand. He was so naughty too. Okay. But the narrator's grandmother will not be allowed this Toto at home, so they have kept it as a secret. Okay. So grandfather and this Ruskin Bond only knew about Toto, and they have kept it in a secret place in a closet nearby this narrator's bedroom. Okay, and Toto was kept tied to a peg in that room. Okay, and after a few hours later, the narrator found a change in his bedroom. After this Toto's arrival, Toto had removed the ornamental paper from the walls. He had also pulled out the peg, and he also tore up the narrator's cruel blazer. So grandmother also happened to see this, and instead of getting angry, grandfather was pleased with this naughtiness and mischievousness of Toto, because he was very fond of animals. Okay, and after that Toto was transferred to a big cage, and it was in the servants' quarters, and the grandfather's other animals also lived with him, and these were a tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a squirrel, a pet goat, etc. And the monkey didn't allow them to sleep peacefully. This Toto began his naughtiness there also, and grandfather had to leave to Dehradun suddenly for regarding his pension and all. So he decided to take Toto with him. Okay, because he is too naughty, nobody else can bear him. And grandfather got a black canvas kit bag for him. He put Toto into it, and Toto couldn't take his hands out of this bag because it was too strong to bite. Anyway, Toto remained in the bag as well as Sarah and Pooh. But grandfather was coming out of the railway station at that time. He was grinned at the ticket collector, and the ticket collector was taken aback out of fear, and he told grandfather that he had a dog with him, but so would have to pay rupees a fine for this dog. He was charged him a fine. But in vain argued the grandfather that Toto was not a dog. He was not at all ready to admit it, and he had to pay rupees for 3 rupees for this Toto as in the name of a dog pet. Okay. Anyway, there also he was continuing his naughtiness. At last, grandfather had to cancel his journey and return. Anyway, after some days, Toto was accepted in the house by the grandma. Okay, and grandfather gave Toto a comfortable place in the stable. The Toto got Nana, the family female donkey, as his companion. But Nana was a very peaceful animal. But Toto continues teasing her, and they could never become friends. Always sound was there, and all family members knew that Toto began his naughtiness there also. Okay. And another speciality of Toto was Toto had the habit of having a warm bath. It was for him to bath in. Uh, he will get a large bowl of warm water and he can have the bath in it. And Toto would sit inside the bowl, and then he would apply soap on his body and rub all over. It was a very pleasing sight. When the water became cold, he would come out of it. Then he would run to the kitchen fire. There he would warm himself. If anyone laughed at him, if anyone teased him, then he would refuse to bath anymore, like that. But he was very fond of warm bathing. Okay, and because of that, he had a accident also once. Toto nearly boiled himself alive. That is, there was a large kettle left on the fire in the kitchen. It was to boil for tea, but Toto thought it was for him to have a bath. So he got in, and just then the water began to boil, and Toto raised himself a little, but he sat down again because of the call outside, and he could continue jumping up. Then grandmother came and rescued him, and he was already half boiled. Then this Toto's naughtiness again continues there, and Toto always made these type of mischiefs in the home. Okay, he began to tear up things. Day by day, his naughtiness increases at home. Okay, he tore up things into pieces. He tore up the dresses of the aunts of the narrator. And another fun of Toto was to disturb ladies, especially Anglo-Indian ladies. Okay, he hate Anglo-Indian ladies. Maybe some former incident might have irritated him. Whenever he had seen Anglo-Indian ladies, he began to attack them. So all these type of ladies were afraid to walk along this way when Toto is on the yard. Okay. So one day the narrator found Toto is eating rice on the dining table. By seeing this, grandmother began to scream, and Toto threw a plate at her. And one of the narrator's aunts rushed forward for rescuing her. But Toto threw a glass of water at her face, and when grandfather came, Toto ran out of the house with the dish in his hand. He ran up to a jackfruit tree and he began to eat. He threw up the dish after that at grandmother when she screamed at this Toto. So that means he day by day his naughtiness was increasing at home. Okay. Then the grandfather had understood that this shouldn't be continued anymore because they can't bear the expense because of this Toto, because every day they have to buy new things at home because of Toto. So Toto caused much loss to the family. Dishes were broken, clothes, curtains, wallpapers, everything were torn. So the family couldn't bear all these things, and also this is an ordinary family. So grandfather decided to sold back this Toto to the Tonga driver, but the Tonga driver was not at all ready for 5 rupees, so he had to sold him for only 3 rupees. So all these are the main stem of the story. I think you have understood the story. Anyway, go through the revision video, a reference video I have put in the Google Classroom as a revision thing. Anyway, try to make the question answers. Okay, this time no need to make the summary. You have to read the text 3 or more times and understand the story. Try to make it as a poem and then try to answer the textual questions. Okay, thank you, all the best.